Paul Bartel's Eating Raoul, published in 1982 by Mercury Film Distributors, adapted by Kim Deitch. Greetings, friends. Today we're looking at Paul Bartel's brilliant 1982 film comedy, Eating Raoul, which was adapted to comic book form by famed artist Kim Deitch and also published in 1982 by Mercury Film Distributors. Filmmaker Paul Bartel, who was born in 1938 and passed away in the year 2000, is known for a variety of films, including Death Race 2000 from 1975, starring Sylvester Stallone, David Carradine, Mary Woronov, who of course plays Mary in Eating Raoul, and was co-written by Charles B. Griffith, who wrote some of the greatest early Corman films, including Little Shop of Horrors, Creature from the Haunted Sea, and Bucket of Blood. Cannonball, 1976, Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, 1989. The 1982 film Eating Raoul also starred Paul Bartel, Mary Woronov, and Robert Beltran, written by Paul Bartel and Richard Blackburn. A relatively boring Los Angeles couple discovers a bizarre, if not murderous, way to get funding for opening their dream restaurant. The brilliance of Eating Raoul is that it satirizes the decadence of Hollywood while flirting with it. Paul and Mary, a conservative couple who sleep in separate beds and enjoy a very normal life together, are determined to make the dream of opening their restaurant come true, even if it means murder. They lure sleazy sex fiends to their house promising kinky fun, but instead the freaky swingers get a skillet to the skull and are promptly relieved of their fat wallets. In the midst of their scheme to make money to buy their dream restaurant and get rid of the degenerates, Mary succumbs to temptation and loses sight of their goal. But as is the case with true love, Paul and Mary find a way to salvage their relationship and get their dream restaurant. Eating Raoul might be the perfect comedy. Everything is on point, including the screenplay by Bartel, the acting by Bartel and Woronov as the couple, and the comedic timing by the cast. It's virtuous, it's kinky, it's honest, and of course, it's hilarious. Highly recommended. It's no wonder that the film was quickly turned into a 1982 comic book adapted by Kim Deitch, with art by Kim Deitch, Carol Leigh, Warren Greenwood, and others. Kim Deitch is known for his underground comic books, including Hollywoodland, published in 1988, Corn-Fed Comics from 1972, Shadowland, published in 2006, Boulevard of Broken Dreams from 2002, and many more. Okay, folks, now on to the comic book, Eating Raoul, published in 1982 by Mercury Film Distributors, with art by Kim Deitch and a host of others. This was adapted from the screenplay. So on the cover, which is fantastic, by the way, I just love the way this is done, you have the character Paul, Mary, and Raoul. So Paul is played by Paul Bartel, of course with skillet in hand. Oh yes. And in the background here we have Mary, played by Mary Woronov in the film, and Raoul, who is played by Robert Beltran. The idea here, of course, is that Kim Deitch adapted this directly from the screenplay, and it shows. Very, very faithful to the film, and I think they did a fantastic job with this comic book. You can find copies of this on eBay, for example, for $10. You know, I mean, they're not that expensive. It is well worth it. If you love the film Eating Raoul, you're going to like this comic book a lot. Poor Paul, he's working in this wine shop, this bodega. He is a wine connoisseur. He's a wine snob, and he buys a very expensive box of Chateau Lafite, and the owner is just having a freaking cow, of course. Meanwhile, this gentleman comes in to rob the place, and the owner just casually picks up his gun and blows the guy's head off, and Paul says, "Mr. Cray, you killed him." And the boss is like, "Yeah, now what about that Chateau Lafite?" Meanwhile, Mary is a nurse, and she gets occasionally accosted by some of the patients, as we see in this sequence. I'm not going to go play by play here, comparing the film to the comic book adaptation, because it's pretty much right on cue. It follows it extremely closely. And once again, I love the art. I think they do a great job. One of the hilarious scenes, I don't want to give away too much either. By this time, they're in the business of luring in these degenerates. And of course, they have these cosplay sessions. And Mary's playing a mouse, a cartoon mouse, as she says here. A fantastic scene in the movie, which I think translates beautifully onto the comic book page. Of course, is when the swingers decide to have a hot tub party, and Paul's having none of it. So he throws a light into the hot tub, and of course it immediately electrocutes all of the party goers there. Very hilarious. So what they do, of course, is Paul and Mary take all of their money, and they take their cars, and they sell all their cars, and they make like 40 grand, which is enough for the down payment for their restaurant right here for Paul and Mary's Country Kitchen. Bon appetit. I can't recommend the film enough. It is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Eating Raoul. And the comic book is great too. A fitting adaptation to the story. And if you're still wondering what the hell does Eating Raoul mean, I purposely did not give that away to you because that's kind of a big deal in the film and in the comic book. So you're just going to have to find that out yourself, but I think you're going to have a lot of fun in doing so. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like if you haven't already.